Hello, my friends, and welcome to another devotional connection. I saw something today that I thought was pretty cool, and it was a statement that read like this: You can see your reflection in calm water, but you can't in boiling water. When we let anger take over, we don't see clearly. We have to calm down and breathe so that we can think and see clearly. I thought that was pretty cool. And it reminded me of something that the Bible says. In 2 Corinthians, Paul is sending a message and talking once again to church folk. And in verse 3, it starts off, For though we live in the world, 2 Corinthians chapter 10, by the way, verse 3, it starts off, For though we live in the world, we do not wage war as the world does. Therein, once again, we have to check ourselves. Verse 4 continues and says, The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. On the contrary, they have divine power to demolish strongholds, meaning that the weapons that we wage war with have the power to demolish strongholds. Should we use them for anything else, that's not what they're meant for, and you're going to wind up brandishing a weapon with no power. The weapons that God gives us are used to demolish strongholds. We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God. There's what the weapons are used for. And we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. Now, verse 6, a lot of times people stop there and they don't continue to verse 6, but verse 6 is once again making us take stock of ourselves. Now, listen very carefully. And we will be ready to punish every act of disobedience once your obedience is complete. Ooh. How often we want to look at everyone else and think of what they're doing wrong and what they should be doing and what they aren't doing. And yet we don't want to take a look at ourselves. And this says we don't get to talk about anybody else. We don't get to discipline anybody else until our obedience is complete. We are supposed to be the ones helping the world see Him. He is the standard. And until we get ourselves together, we have no business pointing the finger at anyone else. Instead, we need to understand that we're all in the same boat. We're all on the same page. We're all struggling together. And let's come together under God and allow Him to take over and help us pull ourselves together. One more time, it's interesting in what the Bible says and so often how it speaks to the very people that call themselves followers of Christ. We have to get ourselves under control and be in obedience to Him. We don't get to rail off the chains and get mad because of what someone else is doing. We got to check ourselves. And I wonder how much better we would be, how much calmer we would be, how much cooler we would be, how much more collected we would be if we took a look in the mirror, that great mirror called the Holy Bible, that standard called Jesus Christ, and realized we're in great need of Him. Doesn't matter how good we look. Doesn't matter how we carry ourselves. Once we pull up next to the standard, once we open up the Bible and read what the standard is, and His name is Jesus Christ, we will realize our great need of Him, and we pale in comparison. The world is going to do what the world is going to do. The Bible has foretold it. The question is, are we doing what we're supposed to do as His children, as His followers, as believers? Just a thought. Talk to you again soon.